Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our friend here joining us from 5A Therapy. Yes, Mr. Timothy Collins himself, live today on the podcast and Zoomcast. And I know we're going to break a lot down for you today and also get to know a little bit more about this ebook series. But first and foremost, please introduce yourself to everyone today.
Yes. Hello. Welcome back, people. I'm Timothy Collins. You can just call me Tim. Owner and operator of 5A Therapy, hosted in Miramar, Florida, and it is nice to be back with all of you.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And how's the weather? It's got to be beautiful. Make me jealous. Go ahead. Perfect.
It's really good. It's like 75 degrees outside. I went for a morning walk just because it felt that good.
Wow. Well, give us a little bit about, the work you do, how you're helping people in your craft. And do you mind just giving us a little background? Thank you.
Of course. Licensed psychotherapist, clinical mental health, and I help people by helping them to clear out their corruption by revealing the truth of them, whether that be in a clinical state of mind, whether that be in a personal state of mind, interpersonally. My goal is just to help people become better and healthier humans.
Oh, well, I love it.
Yes.
We've had some great conversations, how you're serving really. It's the Broward County area, right? Palm Beach County,
Yes.
Miami-Dade. I mean, you're all over.
Yes. I stretch it out as far as I can.
Great. So also the clinical therapy you do. We're going to talk more today about this ebook. So fill us in. What is this ebook all about? I know we touched upon it briefly last time, but
Yes.
it's, Discover Cognition Editions. Tell us.
Yes, the Discover Cognitions editions, that's basically the first 4 books that I ever wrote. And it's basically based on discovering your cognition. As you can see, if you go to the website at 5atherapy.com, anytime you see the title, it'll say dis with a dash and then cover, because we are covered by our societal norms. We're covered by other people's thoughts about us. We're covered by what somebody else is going to think about us. We're covered by worry. We're covered by the love of money. We don't think straight in our country simply because of other conditions, not because of us, but because of what's been placed on us. So it's time to discover our true thought processing, so that way we can recognize when things are forward, when things are backwards, when things are sideways, and we can just have clearer perception, so that way we can have healthier results. And I think, especially nowadays, that might be necessary.
I love this Discover Cognition editions. All right, we're going to get to some of the, I know we're going to break it down specifically, and psychology, you say, self-help genres, 4 editions. There's a lot to the conversation. Let's continue.
Okay, so the first one is literally just called Discover Cognition. So I started writing because back in 2017, when I was homeless, I said, well, what can I do to earn money without having a job? Because of course I can have a job, but I was like, I'm still depending on somebody else to earn money. So what can I do to earn money without somebody else? So I said, okay, I have some blogs. Let me put them together. I slapped an ebook cover on it, and boom, my first ebook. And it's been going ever since then. So Discover Cognition, the first one is literally just called Discover Cognition. And it touches bases on certain things, mainly related to clarity of mentality, improving your mentality by focusing on certain situations. So I know in the book, it talks about infatuation. Do we truly like this person? Is it all chemicals? Or do we simply like what this person is doing for us? The differences. Social factors that may be coming into play when it comes to interpersonal skills, when it comes to your job. Are you doing what you want to do because you're satisfied with it? Are you doing what you have to do because you have to do it, provide for your family? Are you satisfied in your overall life? Even to internal things like empathy. Most people don't know the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for somebody else. Empathy is when you can put yourself in their shoes. So there's a lot that goes into that. So being able to use the words properly and being able to recognize certain things. And of course, relationships. You can't get away without talking about relationships.
All sorts of relationships, right? I mean, with self, with our friends, with our family, with our loved ones. So many different dynamics, right?
Yes. And that's what Discover Cognition, the first one's all about. It's just about enhancing your awareness. That's it. And the second one goes into the same thing. It just talks about different topics. So in Discover Cognition 2, Keep It Real, it talks about something a little heavier. It also talks about overthinking and anxiety, because they go together like peanut butter and jelly, you know? Um, Unforeseeable change. So when changes do occur, especially with what our country's going through now, how are you adjusting? How are you going to make it beneficial for yourself? Or are you just going to stay stuck in the negatives of everything? You know, are you accepting everything as it is, or are you filtering? Are you focusing on what confirms your personal bias? You know, so a lot of this is what Discover Cognition 2 goes into. Basically, a little bit more in depth. It's a little heavier, but same situation, just increasing the awareness. That's what it's all about, you know?
Thank you for this. Go ahead. You're on a
Of
roll,
course.
Timothy.
Of course, I appreciate it. So, Discover Cognition 3, and this is probably my favorite Discover Cognition edition, simply because it's talking about the misconceptions. So, things that we misconceive on a daily basis. So, for example, like the way we think, the biggest, the biggest distortion that we all engage in is projection. Projection is basically saying, this is the way I feel, so everybody else must feel the exact same way. So, for example, I don't like pickles. Nobody likes pickles. That's untrue. I'm pretty sure you can find some people that like pickles,
I
right,
love
Drew?
pickle juice. I don't like to eat the pickle, but I mean, yeah, yeah. And then when I go to McDonald's, I'm like, no onions, no pickles. But that's just me. Everyone's
There
different.
you go. There you go. So with that right there, I would have to change my language. And that's what Discover Cognition 3 goes into. It presents the problem, but it also gives you the solution. And I think that's the biggest part. People are really good at bringing up problems, but they don't know the solution. And now we're just stuck in a cycle of problems. So the solution for the problem of projection would be taking responsibility for your own words. Hey, I don't like pickles. And I know that there are other people that don't like pickles, but I just don't like pickles. So that way you don't have to group everybody into one thing, because the reason that's why projection exists is so that way you don't feel alone. And that's it. But the problem is it creates a distortion and basically wrong facts, you know, because you can always find somebody that can negate it. So that's what Discover Cognition 3 talks about. It just talks about misconceptions, things that are backwards. Another thing is the peace sign. You know, most people don't know the peace sign is supposed to be like this, together, because
Oh, I never
there
knew
was a,
that.
yeah, and there was a point, we always do it like this, right? But when this first came out, at least in America, I believe it was by Winston Churchill or one of the presidents, and they did this, and it was a V for victory. But this can't stand for peace, because in order to have victory, you must first engage in battle. So when you put it together, now we're working together, you know? So that's just that's what it's all about. You know, there it goes into things like it goes into the government, it goes into symbolism, it goes into love. Oh, that's a big one. The misconception of love. I like that one. So there's a lot that goes into, so this is probably my favorite one, just because it's everyday things that happen right before our eyes. And most people don't catch it. But with increasing your awareness, now you're like, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Good, good, good. Question it. Critical thinking is what Discover Cognition is all about. Enhancing that critical thinking. And then the fourth one is interesting. It's soft skills for adults. So soft skills, you know, being able to communicate, socialism, personal attitude, things of that nature. Now, this one is interesting because I originally wrote it for children. When I was I was a preschool teacher for approximately like 4 years. And I wrote this kid because, you know, the kids were just running ragged. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to literally teach you guys manners. So it just turned out to be so detailed and so mature that I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for adults and give it to them, because we have the same issues. You know, we're nice to who we're nice to, but if we don't know you or if we feel defensive, that's where everything breaks down. So I made this soft skills for adults, and I think it's pretty good. It's pretty detailed, but I will say this: all of the books can be read in under 30 minutes or under 45 minutes or within an hour. They're all very short books, simply because I said, well, humans need to read more. You know, we're good on audiobooks and everything, but split attention is a real thing. But I said, what could make humans read more? And I was like, I'd read more if books were shorter. So I said, I'll just
There you go.
project that. I'll project it and make short books. And that's where the fourth one came into play. So discover cognition is all about critical thinking and enhancing awareness so that way we can have healthier interactions and more accurate and be more accurate in our actions and our statements.
Wow. You are on a roll, by the way. This is amazing. And I just can't even believe how you started this ebook series if you are just tuning in with Timothy Collins. And how many years has it been now that you wrote the first one?
Oh man, the first one was back in 2017, so I'd say about
So
8 years.
8 years. And how many total are there? I know we're talking about all of them today, but just curious.
There are 4 Discover Cognitions, but total in ebooks, there are 12.
Got it. And then we will talk about the metaphysical line next and the nonfiction
Yeah,
fiction too, right? Okay, good. Go ahead.
yeah.
Continue.
Okay, so spiritual anatomy, that was a good one. Spiritual anatomy is basically the spirit's guide on being human. I had this thought when there's a piece of me that wants a family. So I was like, if I had a child, what would I have to teach my child? So I'm thinking, of course, like secular information, but I'm also a spiritual man. You know, I recognize that we are a spirit in this human form. So do you know how to be of that spirit? Most people don't. You know, a lot of people go to church, and that's great. I go to church too, but at the same time, your spirit, you got to get to know your spirit. So that ethereal energy, you know,
Mm,
the ether, if you will, that lives inside of all of us, the conscience that is
yeah.
conscious, that is something that we have to recognize that we are of that. So the question is, do you know how to use it? So that's what it really comes down to because we have it, but man, once you learn how to use it, it's like having $1 million. But once you realize I can spend this, I can use it. Now we're moving. Now we're going somewhere. So that's spiritual anatomy, the spirit's guide to being human. And when I do have a child, that's the first thing I'm going to say to my child. I'm going to read that book.
Oh,
Outside of I
I
love
need
you.
the Manor book. I have an 8 and 10-year-old, so I'm thinking about, but the importance of it, you're right. I remember they were younger, but still, manners, how
Yes.
important it is. Even, part of the Manor process, figure out, yes, please, thank you. Also help to clean up after yourself. Little things like this,
Yes.
it goes such a long way, and it just can
Yes, it
impact you
does.
for the better in any walk of life, whether you're at school, whether you're with a friend, whether, you're one day at a job. I mean, simple
Hmm.
manners, holding the door for someone. I'm sure that's part of it, right? Like being
Oh,
kind to
yeah.
others, but like doing things to make people smile during the day is just,
Yes.
love it.
There you go. There we go. I like this, Jill. We're on a roll here.
Yes, we are. All right, what's next?
Yes. All right. So the next one would be the metaphysics of soul.
Ooh,
So yes, I like the title. The metaphysics of soul is basically the connection of our soul or the breakdown of our soul. I don't want to get the two mixed up. So the breakdown of our soul. So meta meaning the existential spiritual portion.
okay.
Physics is the physical part of us. So the metaphysics of our soul. What is that? Basically that empty space that we feel inside of us all the time, but you can't really locate a soul. By the way, it's
Mm-hmm.
in your brain. Fun fact. But metaphysical soul just breaks down the connection between the meta, the spiritual, and the physical, our earthly body. So, for example, if we were to talk about, let's say, mm, food, let's say food, right?
Okay.
So if you eat certain foods can make you tired, right? Make you want to go to sleep, give you the itis a little bit, too much tryptophan in your body. Now you want to just relax. But then you eat certain foods and it can make you want to get up. It
Yeah.
lifts your spirit. Some things bring your spirit down. So the question is, what are we doing and what are we physically engaging in to enhance our meta, to enhance our existential experience? What physical aspects are we engaging in that's bringing down our meta, bringing down our spirit? So I'm a very practical man. I do consider myself a metaphysical being, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, we all are. We all have a soul inside of us and we all have a physical body. We're all metaphysical. The question is, are we doing it correctly? Are we
Mm-hmm.
satisfying it? And it all starts with increased awareness and critical thinking about certain things, even if it surpasses just the physical eye. So
Ooh,
that's metaphysics of soul.
love it. Look at
Yes.
you. And again, we are with Timothy Collins. Timothy, again, joining us here live on the show. And the name of the company is 5A Therapy. And he does virtual group therapy services. Again, Miami-Dade, Broward counties, Palm Beach County. And wants to really help clear that corruption, right? And become your
Yes.
truth, as you say, through awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, answers, applications of interventions. And, besides the counseling, you do strategic consultations, clinical
Hmm.
cases, and so much more, let alone these ebooks. We're talking about his whole collection today. So it's great getting to hear, what's in store next. We are talking about the metaphysical line currently and all these different editions. Go ahead.
Yes, I appreciate that. You know it. Good job. I like that. So the next one I have would be the creator of creation. And the creator of creation, a lot of people, most people, something pops into your head at that point. However, it's not about that. So the premise of the creator of creation is at first there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Something came in and created everything that we experience today. And what the creator of creation does is it breaks it down step by step. So first and foremost, what is that something that came in? What did that something do? What did
Mm-hmm.
that result in? And what did that result in? And what did that result in? So basically, it's a breakdown of how we get colors, how we get physical matter, how we perceive certain things in the order that we perceive them, different states of matter. So it's very simple. I know it sounds way more complex, but it's not. On the website, there are excerpts. So if you're interested, you can always go to the website 5atherapy.com, go under shop, check ebook series, and go to the ebook of your interest. And you can look at the summary. There are like 1 or 2 pages of an excerpt there, so you can check it out. But yes, the creator of creation, excuse me, got it mixed up. The creator of creation is all about something coming in and creating everything that we see, but it breaks it down step by step. So if
Wow.
you're interested in that, this is definitely a good book for you.
Ooh.
Definitely good for science people and those that like astronomy or those that like physics. Or
Ah.
if you, yes. So very, very elementary. All these books to where like a 10-year-old could understand it. So
Awesome. All right. What else is in store for
yes,
us?
yes.
We got
So
10
for
minutes left, so we're good. We're
oh,
good.
okay, okay. So for the last one for this line, it would be the blueprint.
Okay.
Now, the blueprint is literally about God. It's about God, it's about Jesus, and it's about the truth of both of them. So the first half is basically God, his name, the name of God. Most people don't know the name of God, the real name of Jesus, the breakdown of what it means. And basically, the blueprint is how Yahusha, which is Jesus, and Yahusha literally translates from Hebrew into God's salvation. So it shows how Yahusha is the blueprint for how we should be as humans. So everything that he was when he was on earth is everything we can be and should be. So the question is how? And then it goes into part two, which talks about the earthly elements. So once again, right back to that metaphysical. So, okay, there are certain things in the Bible that God says, hey, this is clean food, this is unclean food, right? Okay, but then the why comes into play. So why can we only really eat fish with scales and fins? Well,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have internal systems. They flush it out. Their meat is clean, while other animals, it all just kind of feces just kind of stay in there. So
Mm-hmm.
little things like that. So it explains the why. So that's what I would say: personality traits, and basically how we are of God, of the same spirit, of that ultimate source of creation. And he was just a physical being that showed us how to use it. So that's what that book describes.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. And did you want to share a little bit about the difference, the balance between spiritual and physical experience?
Spiritual and physical experiences. Yes, that's basically on
Is
consciousness,
okay.
just your conscience. Like if you look up conscience, like CONSI,
I was going to say, how do you spell it? Is it conscience
yeah,
or okay?
yes, conscience. And it's really cool because when you break that word down, it's conscience. If you look at it from a Latin base, it literally means your conscience is with biology.
Ah.
So we Yeah, we're inside. It's inside of us. Your conscience, and if you look up the definition of conscience, moral good tells you, hey, this is good, this is bad. Your conscience is your morality.
Mm.
Now, the physical would be conscious. Are you aware? If I get knocked out on the ground, I'm unconscious. I'm not aware. But if once I wake up, I'm now conscious. So when it comes to the blueprint, God would simply be conscious conscience. We know when we're about to do wrong and we have something inside of us that says, hey, you sure you want to do that? And then something inside of us can say, yes, do it, do it, do it. But then this thing called fear kicks in and says, hey, wait a minute. Before you try to progress in life, how about you stop and think about all the bad things that could happen so you can stay right here in this one spot to keep you from doing what you're meant to do?
That's
Yes.
beautiful. I love it. Thank you. All right. We
Of
still have
course.
more time to talk, obviously, and we want to talk more about the nonfiction fiction, but just we have 5 minutes left, so I just whatever pace you can
Okay.
do it at. Yeah.
Not a problem. So there's one that's called Aboriginal America, and Aboriginal America just basically talks about Black culture in America, but from the status of before 1776, and how to bring that Aboriginal culture back into America. So Aboriginal literally means means away from or descendant of. Original means first. Aboriginal people, descendants of the first people. So the
hmm
question is, how do we bring that culture back into America based off of before, the corporation was even invented? So I think that's a really good one. It compares the cultures from around the world, but places emphasis on African Americans or so-called African Americans.
mm
So that's a good one. I do respect that one.
Of
So
course.
that was good. It talks about food, it talks about music, it talks about the origins of everything. So after that, I would say, what else would we have there? Pseudo. Yeah, let's talk about pseudo. Pseudo was inspired because I was just in a mood one day and I just wanted to see a fight. I just wanted to
Okay.
see somebody fight. So I said, I was making a meal and this was when I was vegan. And I said, I wonder what would happen if plant food got into a fight with
Oh,
processed
yeah.
food.
Uh-huh.
And that's how pseudo was born. So these are plants with attitude. The book is definitely interesting, definitely good for kids, but at the same time, it has a little edge to it. So it's definitely a fun read. There are pictures in there and everything. So I would definitely recommend it for anyone who is interested to see that fight between plant food and processed food. And
Interesting.
yes, and then the last one would be Savage with a Smile.
Ooh.
Yes. So I was this was back when I was homeless and I was just kind of in a state and I was just kind of in an effort state. So I wrote something and some of it is poetry. Some of it there's a theory in there that I call the mango theory. Check it out. And it just talks about being able to regulate. So a lot of it is just expressed in poetry, excerpts, thoughts, and that one theory. It is a bit unorthodox, but it still makes sense. However, if you're ever feeling edgy, if you're ever feeling like you're in an effort kind of mood, Savage with a Smile is definitely a book to pick up.
Thank you for that.
So I know what that's like. Of
Uh,
course, of course. And all of these books are just simply meant to help increase awareness and foster honesty. So I can't teach other people how to do that unless I do it myself.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow. Thank you for everything today. Great conversation, great inspiration.
Of course,
How
of
can we
course.
reach out to you? Where can we pick up these books?
Yes, these books are available on 5A Therapy. That's five, the letter A, therapy.com. Go to shop and you will see ebook series. Take a look around, peruse, purchase what you like to purchase. The spirituals come in a package deal, or the cognitions come in a package deal. But at the same time, you can check it out there. You can reach out 786-495-6503 or even email me at tcollins at 5atherapy.com.
Beautiful. Thank you. And how did you want to leave off today for your listeners? Anything?
Yes. To, yes, today you guys just go out there and be honest, be yourself. whatever you're saying in your head is the truth. Say it out loud. And I know a lot of people can't handle it if you do. Find the right words and still be able to express yourself. And sometimes, yeah, you may have to be that savage with a smile, but be cordial while you do it.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. Pleasure seeing your happy face, and just great energy here today, as always, with our friend Timothy Collins. Thank you so much, and great conversation. Hope people pick up the copies of the books. And what does the rest of your day look like for today? Do you have a lot of appointments today? Is today a busy day? Anything you want to share with us?
Wednesday is the day where I continue to build my practice. So I have 2 clients that I'm going to go see, and I have some appointments that I'm going to make in order to get some more clients.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes,
have a fantastic day, and looking forward to the next time we
connect. Thank you. You too.
Thanks so much.
Of course. Bye-bye now. See you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.